Okay, so today topic is agricultural finance. Okay, agricultural finance. Okay, agricultural finance in India are the sources of agricultural finance in India. Sources of agricultural finance in India. So the contents of this today's topic, that is okay, sources of agricultural finance. Okay, so the content of the today uh, class: introduction, meaning of agricultural finance, classification of finance, sources of agricultural finance, agency wise credit flow to agricultural in India, weakness in rural credit structure, suggestions for improving the rural credit system. So these are the contents of the today's class. So, introduction: agricultural finance in India. Professional money lenders were the only sources of credit to in India till 1935. Professional money lenders, nothing but private money lenders, are the source to the credit to the farmers India till the 1935. So, they use the charge unduly high rate of interest and flow the serious practices while giving the loans and recovering from the borrowers. As a result, farmers were heavily burdened with debt, and many of them perpetuated debts. So, with passing of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, District Central Cooperative Banks Act, and Land Development Banks Act, leading to improvement in agricultural credit in India. So, introduction to agricultural finance in India. So, large scale credit became available with the reasonable rates of interest at easy terms, but both in terms of granting loans and recovery of them. Okay, till 14 major commercial banks were nationalized in 1969. Cooperative banks were the main institutional agencies providing finance to agriculture. So, after nationalization, it was made by mandatory for these banks to provide the finance to the agriculture as a priority sector. As a priority sector. So, so, what is agricultural finance? Okay, so here agricultural finance is the study of financing and liquidity services credit provides to a farm borrowers. It is also considered as the study of those financial intermediaries who provide loan funds to agriculture and the financial markets in which these intermediaries obtain their loanable funds. So, this is a meaning of the agricultural finance. So, here definition given by the Murray in the 1953 defined the agricultural finance as an economic study of borrowing funds by farmers, the organization and operation of farm lending agencies and society interest in the credit of agriculture. What is defined? Agricultural finance as an economic study borrowing funds by farmers, the organization of operation of farm lending agencies, and society interests in credit agriculture. Okay, and so classification of the finance are the sources of the agriculture classification of the finance. So, okay, finance credit. Okay, time, purpose, security, lenders, borrowers. Time, purpose, security, lenders, borrowers. So these are the classification of the finance. So finance is needed on the basis of time, purpose, security. Okay, these are the agricultural finances or rural finance. Okay, based on the time, three types of loans, three terms of loans are needed to the farmers in general. Okay, so first one is short term loans, second one is medium term loan, third one is the long term loan. So these are the three types of the loans based on the time phase. Okay, so first one is the short term loan. These loans are to be repaid within a period of 6 to 18 months. Short term loans. So generally farmers need the short term loans for purchasing of, okay, purchasing of what is seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and also for giving the salaries, wages to the laborers. Okay, who are engaged in the farm field during the time of fluffing, during the time of planting. Okay, during the time of all kinds of agricultural works in their respected field here. So for the that they need farmers need the short term loans. So these loans are usually paid after the crop harvestation, after the harvesting. Okay, and all crop loans are said to be short term loans, but the length of the repayment period varies according to the duration of the crop. For example, crop duration is more than the 6 month, or the more than 8. So on the basis of the maximum 18 month, minimum 6 month is the duration time of the short term loan. So this type of loan is required to meet the expenses like showing fertilizer applications, plant protection measures, payment of the wages to the casual laborers. Okay. Next one, medium term loans. Here the repayment period varies from 18 months to 5 years. So these loans are required to for purchasing implements, electronics, motors, mild, cattle, sheep and goat, etc. Okay. So the period of this loan is between the 18 months to 60 months or the 5 years. Okay, these loans are required for the purchasing of implements, electric motors, okay, cattle, sheep and goat. Next, third one is long term loan. What? Long term loan. So these loans fall due for repayment over a long term ranging from 5 years to more than 20 years. These loans fall due to repayment over long time, ranging from 5 years to more than 20 years. So these loans are meant for permanent improvement of like level, okay, level and reclamation of land, okay, reconstruction of farm buildings, purchase of tractors, okay, raising of the orchards, etc. So these loans, period of these loans 5 years to the 20 years, nothing, 5 years to 20 months. So these loans are usually required to the farmers for the land reclamation, land development activities, construction of farm buildings, purchase of tractors, digging the wells. Okay, for that purpose farmers need long term loans. Okay, so these are the three types of the terms of the loan, loans based on the time. Next one, based on the purpose. So farmers, based on the purpose, these loans are, okay, production loans, investment loans, marketing loans, consumption loans. Production loans, investment loans, marketing loans, consumption loans. So these are the types of loans based on the purpose. Okay now. So these loans refers to the credit given to the farmers for the crop production. These loans refers to the credit given to the farmers for the crop production. So the loans also called as a seasonal agricultural operations, ACAO. The loans also called as what is seasonal agricultural operations. Loans for the short term loans or crop loans are the example for the production loans. Okay, production loans. Next one, investment loans. What investment? So these are loans given for purchase of equipment, the productivity of which the distributed over more than 1 year. Loans given for tractors, pump sets, tube wells, etc. Okay, these are the investment loans. So usually tractors are very required in the farm field, so the farmers require tractors. So they usually they may not use the traditional mode of transport in the farm activities, so that sometimes they demand, sometimes they will to purchase tractors, machineries, trailers, whatever it may be. Okay, for that purpose if they have taken the loan, that kind of loans treated as the investment loans. Next one, marketing loans. What? Marketing loans. So these loans are meant to help the farmers in overcoming the distress sales and sales and to the market the produce in a better way, produce in a better way. So regulated markets, commercial regulated markets and commercial banks based on the warehouse receipt are lending in the form of marketing loans by advancing 75% of the value of the produce. So these are the marketing loans. Okay, these are the marketing loans. Okay, these loans are meant to help the farmers in improving the distress sales and to market the produce in the better. So if for the marketing purpose, if they have taken loans, that kind of loans said to be a marketing loans. Very simple. Okay. Next one, consumption loans. So you already know this kind of loans. Okay, what is consumption loans? Any loan and any loan advanced for some purpose other than the production is broadly categorized as a consumption loans for the requirement, for the consumption of for what is for their home needs, for running the festivals, okay, and also birthdays, okay, marriage parties and any other ceremonies occurred in the rural families, so they also required the loans. That kind of loans known as the consumption loans. So you already know recently, so for so many long time, rural farmers are they are taking the loans, more loans in what is consumption loans than the investment loans, consumption loan than the productive loans. Okay, why? Because so marriage is very prestigious activity in the rural area. Birthdays are the very prestigious activities in the area. Okay, some death parties also very prestigious. So these are all the expenditure which are used on this area is completely unproductive. Okay, so for that, for putting their reputation in the market, that individual, that farmer may take the loan for the which is known as the consumption loans. Okay, these are the types of the loans based on the purpose. Next one, based on the security. Security loans are advanced against the some security by the borrower are termed as the security loans. What is security loans? Loans advanced against some security by the farmers are termed as the security loans. So personal security, under this borrower himself stands as a guarantor. Personal security is nothing but under this borrower himself stands as a guarantor. Loan is advanced on the farmer's promissory note. Loan is advanced on the farmer's promissory note. Third party guarantee may or may not be insisted upon, that is based on the understanding between the lender and the borrower. So if you take in the loans from the finances, the finances, private money lenders may give this kind of loans by taking the promissory note from the farmers, from the borrowers here. So that kind of loans should be a personal security loans. Okay, so collateral security, hence the property is pledged to secure a loan. So the movable properties of individual like LIC bonds, fixed deposits, warehouse receipts, machinery, livestock, etc. are offered as a security. Okay, so collateral loans, here the property is pledged to secure the loan. The movable properties of individual like LIC bond, fixed deposits, warehouses, receipts, machinery, livestock are offered as a security. As a security here. Next one, based on the security, mortgage loans. As against the collateral security, immovable properties are presented for the security purpose. Immovable properties are presented for security purpose. For example, land, farm building, the person who is creating a charge for of mortgage is called the mortgage, and the person who is favor it is created as known as the mortgage banker. Okay, mortgage loans for putting upon their valuable assets in the banks, that may be land papers, that may be gold, that may be, okay, what are the ornaments items, if they have that should be put on the banks, upon on the banks, and they take the money according to their requirement. So this is the mortgage kind of loans. Next, unsecured loans, just based on the confidence between the borrower and lender, the loan transaction takes place. No security is kept against the loan amount. So so this kind of loans usually taken by the friends and relatives in the village level. Next, lenders classification. institutional credit and non-institutional credit. So broadly, agricultural finance said to be institutional source and non-institutional source. Okay, institutional credit source here are loans are advanced by the institutional agencies like cooperatives, commercial banks. Commercial loans, cooperative loans, and the commercial banks are the institutional loans, and Reserve Bank of India and also the NABARD, okay, NABARD, okay, and rural RRBs, rural regional banks, cooperative banks, district cooperative banks. So what are which kind of banks institutions established by completely with the government assistance, government, that kind of institutions said to be institutional loans, said to be institutional loans, authoritative loans. Okay, non-institutional credit next, it is also one of the source or the important second source. Here the individual persons will lend the loans given by the professional and agriculturally money lenders, traders, commission agents, relatives, friends. So these non-institutional loans is said to be a provided by the private money lenders, traders, commission agents, relatives, friends. All those are comes under the non-institutional sources. So borrowers classification. What? Borrowers classification. Based on the business activity like farmers, dairy farmers, poultry farmers, pisciculture farmers, rural artisans, etc. Based on the size of the farm, agricultural laboratories, marginal farmers, small farmers, medium farmers, large farmers. Based on the location, hill farmers and tribal farmers. Okay, so based on the borrowers class, based on the business activity like farmers, dairy farmers, poultry farmers, pisciculture. Based on the size of the farm, agricultural laborers, marginal farmers, small farmers, medium farmers. So this is the borrower. So if you see the business activity, farmers, dairy farmers, poultry farmers, so they may take the more, they may need more kind of more amount of loan, more quantity of loan comparing to the based on the size of the farmer. So marginal and small farmers, okay, they also need the money, but they require very less amount comparing to the large farmers, and also comparing to the business activity like dairy farmers and poultry farmers. So based on the location, hill farmers, tribal farmers also there. Sources of agricultural finance. This is very topic, today's heart of the topic. So institutional sources and non-institutional sources, and agricultural finances, and non-institutional sources, institutional sources. When coming to the institutional sources, cooperative societies, commercial banks, land development banks, RRBs, rural development banks, rural regional banks, government, okay, NABARD, all these are the institutional sources of agricultural finance. What is institutional sources of agricultural finance? So cooperatives are, societies are categorized into three. PAS, PA, primary agricultural cooperative credit societies, central cooperative banks. Third one is the state cooperative banks. What state? State cooperative banks. So these are the types of the agricultural finances sources under the institutional. Next, when coming to the non-institutional sources under these money lenders, landlords and others. Money lenders, landlords are treated as the non-institutional sources. So here what institutional credit agencies, cooperative credit societies, primary agricultural cooperative credit societies, PACACS, PACS. These are organized at the village level. You already know every mandal is their primary agricultural cooperative credit societies are there. There are no organized at the village level. These are organized at the village level. These societies generally advance loans only for the productive purpose. The main objective of the sources is to raise the capital for the purpose of leaving loans and supporting the essential and supporting the essential activities such as supply of agricultural inputs at the cheaper price, improving the irrigation, loans owned by the members, encourage the various income, implementing horticulture and animal. So these are the cooperative banks. So these cooperative banks provide the loans to the farming community at a low rate of interest comparing to the private money lenders. Next, institutional credit agencies, district central cooperative banks. So these cooperative banks are organized at the district level. The PAC, primary agricultural cooperative societies, credit societies are affiliated to the district central cooperative banks, DCCBS. DCCBS cordially coordinate the activities of the district central financing agencies, organize the credit for the PACS and carry out the banking business. Okay, next, state cooperative banks. So you already know the DCCB, district cooperative credit banks, are classified to the state cooperative banks, SCBs, which coordinates the activities of DCCB. In large provision of finance for the credit worthy farmers carry out a banking business, acts as a leader of the cooperative in the state. Okay, state cooperative banks, district cooperative banks are there in the state level, state cooperative bank, district level, district cooperative banks are existed all over the country. Institutional credit agencies. Okay, next one, commercial banks. So this is also one of the part of the institutional finance sources. Commercial banks are provided the finance both directly and indirectly. Okay, so direct finance is for the agricultural operation for short term and medium periods. Okay, indirect finance refers to the advance for the distribution of the fertilizer and other inputs. You have to see the institutional credit agencies. Under this, commercial bank is also very important. You already know in the year 1969 14 commercial banks nationalized. 1985 also 5 commercial banks are nationalized. So these banks are lending the financial facility to the rural farming community in general. Okay, commercial banks. Next one, land development banks, LDB. So this is also one of the important institutional credit sources. Land development banks were set up in order to provide the long-term financial facilities to the farming community. Previously, they were called a land mortgage banks. The objective of the bank is to provide the long-term credit to cultivators against the mortgage of their land. So these land development banks provided for the land development activities, for the reclamation of the land development, and for the development of the barren and uncultivable land, for bringing the uncultivable land to the cultivable. Okay, for that purpose, this kind of these banks, this land LDB, land development banks, provide the financial assistance. These banks provide the loans for the repayment of the old loans to the cultivators, purchasing of the new land. You see, the purchasing of the new land is also banks are providing the financial facility. If you want to purchase some quantity of the land beside your already existed land, the banks are ready to provide the financial facility credit, that is the land development banks. So digging, construction and repairing of the well. So for all this purpose, land development banks provide the financial assistance. Institutional credit agencies, under this, regional rural banks, RRBS, we usually called as RRBS. Okay, regional rural banks were set up in the year 1975 on the recommendation of the M. Narasimha Committee. On the recommendation of the N. Narasimha Committee, Government of India established the rural RRBS, rural regional banks, in the year 1975. The main objective of the RRBS is to provide credit and other facilities, particularly to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans and small entrepreneurs, so as to develop the agricultural, trade, commerce, industry and other productive activities in the rural areas. Okay, so not only that land development banks, not only that commercial banks, okay, but also RRBs, they are playing very important and the vital role in the countryside for providing the financial assistance to the farming community. Okay, institutional credit agencies, the government loans these are the both short term as well as the government loans. So this is special peculiar loans. Okay, these are both short term as well as the long term loans, long term schemes. Okay, the loans popularly known as the Takavi loans, which are generally advanced in times of the natural calamities. The rate of interest is low, but it is not the major source of agricultural finance. You have to say that, especially, particularly, government is also, instead of the established institutions, agricultural financial institutions, government especially sometimes provide the financial facility, credit to the farmers during the time of natural calamities like floods, earthquakes, okay, floods, earthquakes, and drought situations. So that kind of loans called as the Takavi loans. The rate of interest is very low, very nominal in case of the Takavi loans. Okay. Next, one more important institution in India, that is NABARD. NABARD. Okay, contribution of NABARD to agricultural finance. So, refinance to state government, cooperative banks, development of rural infrastructural development fund, promotion of microfinance, bulk lending support to NGOs, tribal development projects in the Gujarat, Wadi project, Kisan credit card scheme, gender development through the credit assistance to the rural women in non-farm activities. Okay, refinance under the what is Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, supervising the body. Okay, farm income insurance scheme 2003 to 4, differential rate of interest DRI, that is 1970. So these are all the important characteristics or the important areas of the NABARD here. Okay, so bulk lending support to the NGOs, tribal development project in Gujarat. Okay, so great contribution received contribution concern to the NABARD to the Indian agriculture or the rural finance. Next one is the institutional credit under that microfinance. So this is the new wave, new kind of term. Okay, microfinancing through the self-help groups. SHG is a group of rural poor who volunteers to organize themselves into a group of eradication of poverty of members. Okay, they agree to save regularly and convert their savings into a common fund known as the group corpus. Name is a group corpus. Okay, so you already know every village we seen, that is the self-help groups. Okay, so, under the self-help groups, what is 10 members, around nearly around 8 to 10 members are formed into a group. Okay, they will initially they will consolidate some money individually or equally. So by showing that amount to the banks, so banks are lend the money to these special help groups for the establishment of any kind of individual works, individual professionals. Okay, so for generation of the income, for the generating the income, individuals income, households income, this kind of self-help groups works very much in our country. Okay, for example, okay, I don't want to go in the deep into that. As soon as self-help groups is formed, as a couple of groups meeting are held in self-help groups can open the saving banks account with the nearest commercial banks, regional rural banks, or the corporate banks. Okay, so this self-help group for microfinance is very important. Rural households, what happen if they shown something, for example 20,000 or the 50,000 to the banks, so then government or the banks provided the 5 lakhs to the same group. For example, in that, if there is a 10 members in one group, okay, if they received the 5 lakhs from the government, from the banks, okay, so every individual got the 50,000, every individual got the 50,000. Sometimes if they taken the 50,000 at very lower rate of interest, that is at very meager rate of interest, that amount is, if they given, if they lend to the other person at more rate of interest what they are paying to the government. Okay, for example, if they given 3% to the other persons, other individuals in the society, so they will receive the more income by doing this kind of activity. Okay, so anyhow, these self-help groups are useful to the individual development, households development, family development in the countryside. Okay, You already know about this. Okay, you may also under the part of the self-help process in your household. Next one, this is the agency wise credit. Okay, this is also need not here, I don't want to explain this. Share of the institutional credit you have to say. Okay, so government is cooperative banks and banks. Okay, so government share of the institutional credit is 71%. Is this wrong image? 71%. 25 is a cooperative society. Banks are the okay. Only okay. This image only for the institutional, not non-institutional. So under the government share is very more letter cooperative and letter banks. Agency is credit flow to the agriculture. And non-institutional credit societies, agencies types, traders and commission agents advances loans for the productive purposes against the crop without a legal royalties, became a obligatory for farmers to buy inputs and sell out through them. They chargely they charge hefty rate of interest on the land and commission on all the sales and purchase. So you have to see these traders and commission agents, they usually cheating the farmers. Okay, cheating the farmers. Okay, what is traders? For example, initially during the time of time of cropping time, seasonal or agricultural operational time, they lend the money to the farmers for the needs of the short term needs, that is to give the wages to the farmers for the purchasing seeds, fertilizers. So this kind of the for the small and initial operations, the loans are provided by these traders and the commission agents on the basis of on the agreement of that what the crop should be sold to them only. Okay, after that what is the farmer, they have no the net money, so that the middlemen and commission agent, they came into the farm field and purchased the that crop from the farmers by giving the less rate, so that the farmers are going to cheated by the traders and commission agents in the rural countryside. Next one, landlord is also one of the source, non-institutional source ones. Okay, mostly small farmers are tenant depend on the small farmers and tenants depend on the landlords for meeting their productive and day by day financial requirements. So landlords also providing the loans to their farming community, particularly tenant farmers in the countryside. Money lenders, you already know the role of money lenders is very high since independence, since inception, since 200 years back. So money lenders are of types, agricultural money lenders who combine their money lending jobs with the farming, and professional money lenders that sold the job is money. So money lenders usually the role of these money lenders is very lot in the country area, around more than 60 to 70% money are provided by the private money lenders only. So these money lenders are usually cheating the rural community, farming community by taking the advantages of their what is their innocency. Okay, their illiteracy conditions. Okay, the farmers are cheated by these middlemen and commission agents in their countryside. Okay, share of the non-institutional sources, 70% is government, cooperatives. Okay, wrong వచ్చింది. Okay, farmer informal sources. So farmer sources 63%, informal sources 36%. Weakness of rural credit structure, multiplicity of institutions, lack of motivation, high rate of interest, procedural delays, poor recoveries. So these are all the weakness drawbacks of the rural credit sources. So okay, in the usually during the time of crop harvest, what is plantation or the seasonal time, farmers are borrow the money from the private money lenders are in different areas by on the basis of the agreement. After harvesting the crop, we are okay, sorry. So multiplicity of institutions, lack of motivation, high interest rates, procedural delays, poor recoveries. So these are all the weakness. Next one, suggestions for improving the institutional rural credit system, finance disciplines to improve recovery. Okay, revamping the cooperative credit societies, better physical and social instructions. Financial come consultancy approach, autonomy to RRBS, greater involvement of microfinance organization, technological upgradation, information assessment of the rural poor. So these are all the agricultural finances. Okay, agricultural finances are the sources to the agricultural credit in the rural area. So anyhow, if you see the broadly, the farmers are even unable to find the required credit facility from the government. Okay, the mostly they are depending on the private money lenders. They are taking the money at more rate of interest. Here the private money lenders, commission agents also, they are cheating the farmers. They are exploiting the farmers by taking the advantages of innocence of the farmers, illiteracy of the farmers. Okay, so this is one of the serious problem existed in the rural area in case of the credit system. Recently we also listened the news, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the rural indebtedness situation. Nearly 90% of the households under the rural indebtedness in the countryside, in our country, particularly Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, more than nearly 89 to 90% of the rural households are under the debt trap in the countryside. So this figure, this point, we may come into conclusion very easily how the rural indebtedness is resided in the rural area, recorded in the rural area, how the farming communities are facing the problem of scarcity of indebtedness, scarcity of what is credit facility, what amount of income they are earning from the agriculture, what amount of expenditure they are doing on the agriculture. So there is a they are doing the much expenditure on the agriculture, but they are not receiving the proper income. So income, so that what is, there is no the proper remunerative prices to the farm produce. So here, so backside of the farmer is what, the cost of cultivation has been increasing day by day, year by year. Cost of cultivation is increasing, but the remunerative prices are not increasing. So there is no the much supportive prices to the farm produce, so that the farmers are unable to receive the what is